Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Live from the Underground performance series here in Randolph, Vermont. Big thanks to Vincent Freeman and all the folks here at the Underground. And we're continuing our performance series here this Thursday night, March 11th. Is that right? March 11th, 2021. With some folks, see, there we go. some folk roots Americana music. Performing in sequence his latest album from Burlington, Vermont. Great folk voice of Jason Baker. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. And thanks to Vincent and the Underground Studio for having me here. And I am going to present my album, The Lighthouse. This song is called... What is it called? No. This song is called When the World Shut Down. When the world shut down, we finally could see clear across the mountains and clear across the seas. See the whole world as it ought to be. See the future under lock and key. See a way to set the people free. Yeah, that is what we found when the world shut down. When the world shut down, we finally could hear the beating of our hearts and notice thoughts appear. Hear the whole world thrown out of gear. Hear the big men being insincere. Hear the people overcoming fear. That is what we found when the world shut down. This will be our only shot to live the life we all forgot. The flaws have been laid bare to see. Time to choose who you want to be. Who do you want to be? When the world shut down, we finally could feel what is phony and feel what is real. Feel the whole world's shoulder to the wheel. Feel the people living the ordeal. Feel that pain and find a way to heal. Yeah, that is what we found when the world shut down. 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 Thanks, guys. So the songs on this album are kind of heavy, deep, and real up front. We'll get to some more fun stuff later. So if you feel the first couple of songs are giving you a little bit of a sad feeling, don't worry, stick with us. So this song is about, you just can't ignore it though. These songs were all written this past year, shortly after, almost a year ago, not quite a year ago, in April last year. So this song's called Everybody Has a Name. There is a sickness in the air. People dying everywhere, while the leaders played a waiting game. Everybody has has a name. Everybody has a name. The plague has gone the whole world round. 1 million people dead in the ground. Hear the pastor, fuel to the flames. Everybody has a name. Everybody has a name. Well, there's gonna be a reckoning day. Let the chips fall where they may. All the people know who to blame. Everybody has a name. Everybody has a name. A much more serious song. Thank you, friends. Much more serious song, obviously. We're gonna continue talking about serious things for a minute. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm gonna pick up a different guitar here, and I'm gonna check my tuning. Here we go. Some odd tuning, so it may sound a little weird, but I got this from a guy named Paul Ubana-Jones. He's a pretty famous singer-songwriter from New Zealand. And I just wrote him on Facebook and was like, what's this tuning you're in? And he actually wrote back, unbelievable, just kindness on the guy's part. He said, here's the tuning, play it in different capo settings and try it out and write different songs. And I did, and it resulted in a number of songs, 2 of which appeared on my album, The Lighthouse. This is We've Been Dark Ever Since. Blaming on the sickness, say that was the cause. Business was already dodgy, so we just closed our doors. We've been dark ever since. We've been dark ever since. We've been thinking about dead presidents. We've been dark ever since. It started well before that, when Tom got back from the war. The factories one by one fell silent. There were no jobs anymore. We've been dark ever since. We've been dark ever since. We've been thinking about dead presidents. We've been dark ever since. They shot the leaders of this country in the year that I was born. Shot Kennedy back in '63, and to this day this country mourns. We've been dark ever since. We've been dark ever since. We've been thinking about dead presidents. We've been dark. We've been dark. We've been dark ever since. Thank you, guys. That's very nice of you. It's sometimes hard to applaud misanthropic screeds like that. But I appreciate that people like them anyway. Hey, that's half of what I do is misanthropic screeds, and the other is thinly veiled misanthropic screeds. Just kidding. I need a little drink. Just pardon me for doing this and announcing it every time I do it. But you want me to sing, okay? That's going to be necessary. Especially on this next one. This was inspired by a quote that was going around the internet from a woman named Sona Renee Taylor. She had a thing called... She had basically, the start of it was, we don't want to go back to normal. Normal never was normal, and I stopped with normal never was. That's a great phrase. And she talked about all the reasons why it wasn't, and I came up with my own list. So this is inspired by Sona Renee Taylor. It's called Normal Never Was. Normal is children starving to death, beaten or abused, everyone on meth, strung out and confused, brazen profiteering, celebrating greed, forests disappearing, destroying what we need. We can't go back to normal, no, we can't go back, because normal isn't normal. Normal never was. Normal is everything depleted. Anything's fair game. Nature is mistreated, defiled in your name. We're digging up the dead to burn ourselves alive, just to have some bread. We're killing to survive. We can't go back to normal. We can't go back, because normal isn't normal. Normal never was. Normal is filling up on hate. Hate is all the rage. Hate is the debate. Hate's right on the stage. Hatred is the hallmark of gross inequity. We cannot return to the old normality. We can't go back to normal. We can't go back, because normal isn't normal. Normal never was. Oh, thanks. We're drawing a crowd in the underground. They're coming from underground or above ground, I don't know. Is it the mole people? I have no idea. I have my glasses off so I can't see. It's dark in the dungeons down here. I should put that one in my set list next time. All right, for now though, speaking of traditional older songs, let's shift gears. This song is pretty appropriate for this year. It's a little sad, old traditional song about losing someone in a hospital and not being able to say goodbye. And it's a story about how this guy deals with it, I guess, which isn't that well. Because he's drinking and crying to a crowd about it. So, this is the St. James Infirmary Blues. It was down in old Joe's barroom on the corner by the square. They were serving drinks as usual, and the usual crowd was there. On my left stood Big Joe McKennedy. His eyes were bloodshot red. He turned to the crowd around him, and these were the words he said. I went down to St. James Infirmary. I saw my sweetheart there. She was laying out on the table, so cold and pale and fair. I went to talk to her doctor. She's mighty low, he said. I turned around to see my baby, and great God, she was laying there dead. Let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, I could search this wide world over. I'll never find a better woman for me. Now when I die, please bury me in a high-top Stetson hat. Oh, put a gold piece on my watch chain, so the boys will know I died standing pat. Get 6 gamblers to carry my coffin, 6 chorus girls to sing my song, or put a jazz band on my tailgate, raise hell as we roll along. Yeah, this here's the end of my story, so let's have another round of booze. And if anybody should ask you, you just tell them I've got the St. James Infirmary Blues. St. James Infirmary Blues. Thank you. All right, we're gonna shift gears a little bit. You can't write only serious songs about everything, even in a serious situation like the past year. So about midway through April, what did we get? Things started to pile up, and people started like, "What is this? The end of the world?" So we had plague, and then we had. A comet's headed, an asteroid was going to hit us on election day. That we found that out in April, and then we found out murder hornets. That was always another. So between all that, I thought, okay, time to write a Judgment Day, Armageddon, whatever, end of time song. So, but I'm not really not really religious that way, and I kind of thought about the different characters involved in the whole thing. And I thought I'd bring forth a little-known character who's really quite important in Judgment Day, and to God in particular. He's the angel Israfil. Now, Israfil is you can look for him, but you're going to find him in only very vague references. But he's the guy, he's the one, not Gabriel, Israfil, blows the trumpet. All right? So he's the horn player. So he's the horn player in this song, and I'm just gonna let her rip. This is Israfil come blow your horn. I woke up this morning feeling so bad, I called Israfil to come blow his horn. Wherever I looked, people made me so mad, I called Israfil to come blow his horn. Doing the things they know they shall not, I called Israfil to come blow his horn. Losing my patience at them losing the plot, and I called Israfil to come blow his horn. Now Israfil can really play, especially on Judgment Day. And when he gets to blowing that horn, well, let's just say you've been warned. Never listen to a word I said. Israfil, come blow your horn. Talking out the back of their heads. Israfil, come blow your horn. Acting like a bunch of fools. Israfil, come blow your horn. Disobey all of my rules. Israfil, come blow your horn. Now Israfil can really play, especially on Judgment Day. And when he gets to blowing that horn, well, let's just say that you've been warned. My boy fell down upon his knees. Israfil, come blow your horn. Said, Father, won't you help him, please? Israfil, come blow your horn. I just smiled and I said no. Israfil, come blow your horn. Besides, this cat can really blow. Israfil, come blow your horn. Now Israfil can really play, especially on Judgment Day. And when he gets to blowing that horn, well, let's just say that you've been warned. Israfil, come blow your horn. Thank you. The kazoo, not quite in place, but we got it in. And yeah, so the next song I'm going to do is actually about local politics in Burlington. It's funny because I usually perform it on a different guitar, which I don't have anymore because it was a loaner. I got a loaner of a nice resonator guitar and played it in an open tuning. But I think the song comes across anyway. And this is about that big hole in the middle of downtown Burlington. In case anybody doesn't know what it is, just Google the Big Hole, Burlington, Vermont, and you'll find out. Just look at a picture of it. Well, you can do it right now and on the side, and look at a picture of it while you're listening to this song called The Big Hole. There's a big hole in the ground in the middle of downtown. There's a big hole in the ground. There used to be a neighborhood here, but it's been gone now many a year. There's a big hole in the ground. They built a shopping mall on top, put all crosstown traffic to a stop. And there's a big hole in the ground. And then they tore that white elephant down. Now there's a hole in the middle of the town. There's a big hole in the ground. There's a hole where your vision ought to be. You see a hole and you go plant a money tree. They was gonna build real tall, but now nothing's being built at all. There's a hole, a big hole in the ground. They say those money men, they're gonna keep on trying, but we can tell their lips move when they're lying. There's a hole, big hole in the ground. Mr. Moneybags, hear what I said. The real hole is inside your head. There's a hole, a big hole in your head. You have no soul, so you have no art. Yes, there's a hole where you should have a heart. There's a hole, a big hole in your heart. And your idea of the American dream is enough to make a dreamer scream. There's a hole, a big hole in your dream. And you know what else I do believe is true? That's where we ought to bury you, in a hole, big hole in the ground. A hole in the ground. The big hole. And what's next? Oh, well, we're switching. So yes, switching guitars, switching harmonicas. So yeah, that's a little local politics. You know, when I wrote the earlier songs on the album, I shopped them around to some songwriters. And one of them, a fellow from New Hampshire named Tom Smith, he commented, "These are lovely songs." I mean, it was the first few songs you heard already. And he said, I'm just curious, and you put it in such the nicest way, are you going to write any uplifting material for this album? And I thought, well, John Gorka's got like 7 or 8 uplifting songs now. Maybe I should, I can't let him, beat me. That's a John Gorka fan joke for anybody who knows John Gorka. He actually only has about 8 or 9 songs that are not really serious, but he's the greatest. Oh, he's just the greatest. So I'm just taking my tuning here.
Got a couple comments here. We've got Suzanne McDonald says, "Hey, that guy is great."
Thank you, Suzanne.
John Kaplan, "I like Jason's voice."
Thank you, John. Thank you, Suzanne and John. I really appreciate you tuning in. And thanks to everybody who is tuning in. So I wanted to make sure this tuning is right on this guitar here, so it does not offend your ear. Make sure I also got the right harmonica in it. Oh yeah, the right harmonica for cross harp on this song. So yeah, I decided to write some uplifting material for the album. And so this is a song. It was hard to try and encapsulate where we are, where we were, and how are we going to get to there from here. So I finally realized it's a little further down the road. And I realized, before anyone does comments, I realize that's not grammatically correct, but it sings better than farther. I say further. Sorry. So I hope there's no grammar people who are very offended, but I hope you like the song anyway. And it's called A Little Further Down the Road. No one knows what comes next. What comes next is anyone's guess. Guessing is uncertain, can't look behind the curtain. Answers lie around the bend, although the questions never end. There is a sign you will decode. A little further down the road. A little further down the road. things don't change on their own. Gotta push, that much is known. And if we push together, it all could be much better. Answers lie around the bend, although the questions never end. We can move that heavy load a little further down the road, a little further down the road. Memories are all we've got, missing everyone a lot, and nothing lasts forever, and we will be together. Answers lie around the bend, although the questions never end. May we be returned the love we showed a little further down the road. We will be together a little further down the road. We will be together a little further down the road. We will be together a little further down the road. Thank you. I really like singing that song. It's really fun to sing, and it's hopeful, so I hope you found it hopeful as well out there. All right, wetting the whistle, and now we're going to do a little retune. We're going to go into a normal tuning for those folkies keeping score at home. We're going out of the weird Paul Jones tuning, and we're going right to Dad Fad. If you know what you're talking, if you're a guitar folky, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, don't worry about it. But it sounds a little more consonant when strummed open. This song was inspired by just, again, another thing someone said on Facebook or something. I don't even remember. It was pretty much, grow a plant, grow a tomato, grow something. It'll be good for you. So that's true. So this is called Grow. Planting all the seeds in the little pots, peppers and tomatoes, we sure have a lot. Planting all those thoughts there inside of me, diligence and patience, calm consistency. With every seed I sow, I begin to grow, keeping it alive helps my soul to thrive. Tending to the garden, watering and weeds, picking kale and rhubarb, planting late crop seeds, tending to my garden, bringing fruit from flower, caring for another gives you magic power. With every seed I sow, I begin to grow, keeping it alive helps my soul to thrive. And now it's time for harvesting the garden, food for us to eat. Peppers and tomatoes will help us make ends meet. Harvesting the lessons of growing things from seed, from flowering to fruit, it teaches what we need. With every seed I sow, I begin to grow, keeping it alive helps my soul to thrive. And that's called Grow.
Very nice.
And it's kind of more of a children's song, I'd say, but it's still, I think it fits under the banner of uplifting in general, and I'm happy to have included it. And so I'm going to switch back to my regular guitar. By the way, that other guitar is I'll tell you about it for a second while I'm switching. The other guitar you just saw me playing is a rescue guitar. I rescued that guitar from a thrift store and cleaned it up and put stuff in it, so it didn't cost me very much, but it sounds very beautiful, and so shout out to Yamaha. I mean, dang, that thing took a beating before I got to it. So I'm back to my harmonica here now, C, and I'm back to my regular guitar, which is an Ibanez Koa guitar. I get asked a lot because it's fairly resonant sounding. What's the wood? People come up and ask, so if you're, again, keeping score at home, Folky's keeping score at home. In standard tuning, all Koa guitar, harmonica and C. And this is the last song on my from my album, and it looks like we gotta have time for a little bit of fun after, and that's cool. Because I feel like I want to make sure you hear all these songs, but hopefully I haven't been rushing through them. And this song was intended again as to try and sum up. I really did want the album to have a positive feel for people and to be to give people things to think about, but then some hope. And so the symbol I've used my first two albums on my album covers were a lighthouse that's basically the northern end lighthouse in Burlington Bay. That lighthouse, just it gets a lot of pretty sunsets and stuff like that. So there's a lot of pictures of it. So I found some public domain pictures of it, and I used those for my albums. And I hadn't really thought about the symbolism of it. Until I really delved into this song. And so lighthouses are one of the oldest communal structures that doesn't just benefit the local community alone. It's meant to encourage trade and to keep people safe who aren't necessarily from your community. But at the same time, it's always a welcome sight to anybody who's left a place and sailing home. So it's a good metaphor, I think, for the things we can do as a community to light the way for each other. So I called my album The Lighthouse, and this is the title track, The Lighthouse. All the young lads in town were heading off to sea. My mother said to me, what will be, seek your fortune if you must, but please remember home. And let the lighthouse guide you back, however far you roam. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse. Let the lighthouse guide you home. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse. Let the lighthouse guide you home. The lighthouse, it was built so many years ago by everyone in town, their station high or low. The people came together and they worked both day and night. They made their common purpose the raising of the light. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse. Let the lighthouse guide you home. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse. Let the lighthouse guide you home. Well, now we're out at sea, fighting for our lives, thinking of our children, thinking of our wives. And when the battle rages and storms are raging too, we think about the lighthouse and we know what to do. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse. Let the lighthouse guide you home. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, Look for the lighthouse, let the lighthouse guide you home. So when you're facing trouble and you don't know what to do, when the storms of life have broken and battered you, look for people helping and join them if you can. You could be the light that leads the lost back to dry land. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, let the lighthouse guide you home. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, and sing along at home. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, let the lighthouse guide you home. Look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, look for the lighthouse, let the lighthouse guide you home. Look for the lighthouse. There we are. Thank you very much, guys. All right. So yeah, we got 15 minutes. We got time for 2 or 3 more, or maybe more, depending on how we do this. So I actually think maybe it's time for a traditional song. I just want to note the album I just did was The Lighthouse. That's in its entirety, and it's my third solo effort, available online anywhere you want to stream music, and you can buy it online. My website is jabakurvt.com, and then all that. But mainly, I want to do some songs from my other album. But first, let's just do a traditional folk song. I did an album that was released in October with my mentor Rik Palieri, and we did all traditional folk songs. Although I was trying to think of what song to do, and I don't want to do any of the arrangements we did with him because they were so good with him. So I thought of another song to do. This is something that came up recently. See, Rik and I have a radio show, and we did a show on the recent fad. It's called Folk Talk, and we did a recent show on the fad of sea shanties, TikTok sea shanties and all that. And we played a bunch of old and new sea shanties. And I decided that since we can't sing, they're usually something you sing together. So you can try singing this at home when we get to the chorus. But I thought sometimes it's just a shame that we can't sing those songs. So I love this song, and I thought it might come across in this version. This is Roll the Old Chariot Along. We'll be alright. The wind is in our sails, we'll be alright. The wind is in our sails, we'll be alright. The wind is in our sails, and we'll all fall in behind. Well, a drop of Nelson's blood wouldn't do us any harm. A drop of Nelson's blood wouldn't do us any harm. A drop of Nelson's blood wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all fall in behind. And we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all fall in behind. We'll be alright if we make it round the horn, we'll be alright. Once we make it round the horn, we'll be alright. If we make it round the horn, and we'll all fall in behind. Well, another shot of rum wouldn't do us any harm. Another shot of rum wouldn't do us any harm. Another shot of rum wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all fall in behind. And we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all fall in behind. Well, a night's watch below wouldn't do us any harm. A night's watch below wouldn't do us any harm. A night's watch below wouldn't do us any harm, and we'll all fall in behind. We'll be alright. If the wind is in our sails, we'll be alright. The wind is in our sails, we'll be alright. When the wind is in our sails, then we'll all fall in behind. And we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all fall in behind. And we'll roll, we'll roll, we'll roll, and we'll all fall in behind. Yes, we'll all fall in behind. Thank you. That's the first time I played that, so I hope that came out okay. I really love that song. It's really much more fun to sing with a huge group of people, though, and it's less. But I thought I'd bring out the spooky nature of it. So let's do a song from my last album, Common Man Blues. Really like the way some of those songs came out. Really wasn't sure which ones would last. This one seems to be lasting a bit. This is called Right or Wrong. Excuse me, a little gas. Yeah, this is called Right or Wrong. There's flooding in Japan, wildfires out in the west. The Prime Minister's in trouble, the nominee has been guessed. Blasphemy in the Philippines and a sultan back in power. Questions about the borders, hate is in full flower. This is a time for revolution and a time to right the wrongs. Which side are you on? This is a time for revolution and a time to right the wrongs. Which side are you on? There's kids inside of cages because they crossed the line to the land of the free, like pearls cast before swine. There's protests and complaints. Oh yeah, you get out of your bed before they catch you sleeping. The lights are flashing red. Well, this is a time for revolution and a time to right the wrongs. Which side are you on? Well, this is a time for revolution and a time to right the wrongs. Which side are you on? They're shooting in the churches, nothing is sacred anymore. And all the whole world over, there's nothing but the war. There is a little village, a place that won't survive. Say hello to your friends now while they are still alive. This is a time for revolution and a time to right the wrongs. Which side are you on? This is a time for revolution and a time to right the wrongs. Which side are you on? Yeah, this is a time for revolution and a time to right the wrongs. Which side are you on? And this is a time for revolution and a time to right the wrongs. Which side are you on? Right or wrong? Thank you, guys. So yeah, let's change it up, and I brought another instrument that I haven't even played yet. Folks, we've got time. Oh yes, we've got time, and if you've been sticking around waiting for this, your time has come, ukulele people. Yeah, the ukulele. This is a tenor ukulele, and I write a lot of songs on it. And sometimes you like to keep the songs on it, sometimes. I didn't record this way, but my friend Rik Palieri, who I mentioned, he played a banjo uke on the recording on Common Man Blues, and it led me to realize this is a pretty cool song to play live on the ukulele. This is a song I wrote at the Old Songs Festival about old-time music, Americana music, folk music, whatever. It's about people who love it. And because it was written right after a giant rainstorm at a folk festival, and everybody popped out of their tents the second the rain rained solid for an hour and then stopped. And then everybody just popped out of their tents and their cars and banjos, and boom, immediately the music filled the air. And so I wrote this song right that second. It's called We Don't Know Any Better. We don't know any better. Sing along at home. We just like the way it sounds. We can't help but to love it when the chorus comes around. And when the pickers come to picking, we get up and we get down. We don't know any better. We just like the way it sounds. Now hear the sound of that old time music. Some kid picking on an old guitar, finding the words, trying to be heard. He's always been told, stop wishing on a star. Well, he ain't in it for the money, and we ain't in it for the fame. Smoking hot licks and some politics, and a singable chorus is the name of this game. We don't know any better. We just like the way it sounds. We can't help but to love it when the chorus comes around. And when the pickers get to picking, we get up and we get down. We don't know any better. We just like the way it sounds. Now hear the sound of them old-time folkies talking about the times they went to jail. The country needed fixing, getting rid of Nixon. They marched that fella out of town on a rail well. And then we were in trouble again, and it was even worse than it was before. Well, some love to hate, but love trumps hate. So let's sing this chorus. We showed them to the door. We don't know any better. We just like the way it sounds. We can't help but to love it when the chorus comes around. And when the pickers get to picking, we get up and we get down. We don't know any better. We just like the way it sounds. Hear the sound of that old-time banjo, guitar, mandolin, and fiddlers too. We like to jam, man, anywhere we can. This here's an open stage, let's hear a song from you. Sometimes we begin to question, like, when the rain come pouring down, why are we here when we could be there? It comes back to us when we hear this sound. We sing, we don't know any better. We just like the way it sounds. We can't help but to love it when the chorus comes around. And when the pickers get to picking, we get up and we get down. We don't know any better. We just like the way it sounds. We don't know any better. We just like the way it sounds. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was very nice to hear from you guys. I think we have a few more. Time for one more? Is that correct? Or two more?
One or two.
All right. Let me, yes, okay. I think I would like to play at least one more song, and I'm going to try to do something. Let's see if I can get this all set up quickly. So we're back to this guitar, and we're back to the C harmonica. Yep. All right. This is a song, another song from Common Man Blues. I'll just play it. It's called Across the Desert Sand. It's hard to explain. Well, I could go on about it. Maybe we'll talk about it in a bit.
You got a comment on the last song. We get up and we get down. What a great line.
We do both. That's right. Yes, we do both. We get up and then we get down. Because you got to get up before you get down, right? I don't think you can really, silly thing to say, but it's true. All right, so yes, I want to make sure I'm doing the right song. Okay. This is called Across the Desert Sand. We walk across the desert sand, and all we own is in our hands. We are now refugees of war and poverty, and of the changes in the land. The mountain snows have gone, the lake did not last long. We walk across the desert sand. We farmed and fished upon the plains, and in the forest hunted game. The forest now is gone, the fish no longer spawn, the crops all fail for lack of rain. The soil it turns to dust, the wind begins to gust, the farms are dust upon the plain. We have no food to eat at all, no one to help that we could call. Men with guns, they came, took all the food away, or listened to the children bawl. And so it's come to be, we're climate refugees. We see the writing on the wall. We walk across the desert sand. 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 Oh, thank you. Somebody really liked it. Oh no? Okay. And let's end on a little more positive note then. Again, just like the Lighthouse, the Common Man Blues has some heavy, deep and real stuff like that. And let's end though on a positive note. This song actually won the Songs for Social Change 2019 Renaissance Artists and Writers Association. No, it didn't win. I was a runner-up. Before I lie, I got first runner-up. I wanted to win so bad, but the woman who won wrote such a good song. I'll get you next time, Mary Lou. No. That's not really the spirit of the Songs for Social Change thing, is it? Really, no. No, seriously, I was so psyched to be included in the finalists that I go around thinking, I won. But no, I was a finalist, and I seemed to be the first runner-up, so hey. This song is a positive song, I believe, when originally it started with as just a list of complaints, and then I threw all those lyrics out and redid it. So just for you, this is something that's never been done before. Let's start that again. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. We can hear and we can see, we can know what ought to be. You know, folks, I'm gonna start that all over again because I'm in the wrong key. I'm in the wrong verse and everything. So give me, and I'm drying out. So sorry for that false start.
Rehydrate.
And I do apologize for false starting. You know what? I'm going to warm up in this thing. You can sing along with this melody because we're going to ask you to sing it home at the end. So. Hey, 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 hey. Here we go. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. We can think and we can see, we can know what ought to be. We can tell the truth from the lies. We can stop right now. We can make that sacred vow. We can see a new world on the rise. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. We can think, we can hear, we can see, we can know what ought to be. We can tell the truth from the lies. We can take and steer the wheel, we can steer the take. We can think and we can feel my politics. We can take behind the wheel, we can steer a course into the sky. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. We're gonna do something that's never been done before. Save the world, and then we'll do some more. We will pick and we will choose. We will be nice if you lose. We will be there to help you find the way. We will work to make it right. We will work throughout the night. We will work to make the brand new day. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. Try singing that. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. Now sing it to the other melody. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. We're gonna make things how they ought to be. For the first time in history, we're gonna do something that's never been done before. We're gonna do something that's never been done before. We're gonna do something that's never been done before. And thank you for bearing with me on the rough start of that song. So that's my set for tonight. I think we're going to be talking in a moment with my friends. So thank you very much for tuning into the music, folks. If you want to hang out and listen to the interview, please do.